fraud is a problem, cargo theft is a problem, and identity theft is a problem. And most of the time, they're all intertwined at some level. And a lot of the time, it's not even from people in this country. It's from outside the country. It's where it starts and it originates. Welcome back, everyone, to Stay in Your Lane. I'm your host, John Mahle, brought to you by Triple T Transport. As most of you know, we're a 100% employee-owned company, very special. In today's episode, I've got Michael Grace from Highway, first time. Thank you for joining us, Michael. And we're also got Joe Lombardo, podcast contributor, very consistently with us, Joe, one of my faves. So thank you for being on. We're going to talk with Michael and try and understand, we've seen so much fraud in the industry over the past, especially 5 years, 4 to 5 years. We've seen an outpacing of technology and theft versus security, much like the credit card industry we've talked about, where fraud outpaced security in that years ago. And it took the credit card industry a while to adjust. And I asked Michael to be on because we're a believer and a fan of the product. So, Michael, I'm going to give you the floor to kind of share with the audience what your role is and what your history is. I know you've been on your side of the desk and our side of the desk also, so you have some unique visibility, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor.
No, thanks so much, John, for having me. Appreciate it. But my current role over here at Highway, I'm the VP of Customer Risk Management. So anytime there's any fraudulent activity, my team, we're recording that and taking it back to our product team so we can improve the product to tighten any holes or cracks that we see. But on a daily basis, we're monitoring all the identity alerts that come in for identity theft, back solicitation, stolen assets, unresolved insurance claims, and we're primarily just taking that information, we're analyzing it, we're seeing what are the common denominators in these stolen assets, because these crime rings, it's not just a one-off, it's multiple loads at a time, and they are basically impersonating multiple carriers at a time. So we try to look behind the scenes, see where these guys are coming in from, and observe them and block them and ensure that they don't pretend to be someone that they're not actually. We're in the risk mitigation department. But prior to coming here over to Highway, I was a freight broker for 15 years. Worked for 3 different freight brokers, Echo, Talent Systems, and NTG. So I'm a freight broker at heart. I identify as a freight broker. But now, I'm on the other side, trying to fight the bad guys so we all can live, peaceful freight brokering lives, if there's such a thing.
Well, thank you for the background, and I think everyone is aware, if you're in this industry, that fraud is a problem, cargo theft is a problem, and identity theft is a problem. And most of the time, they're all intertwined at some level. And a lot of the time, it's not even from people in this country. It's from outside the country where it starts and it originates. So the days are somewhat gone of, firing up the squad car and pulling the truck over and finding it with stolen stuff. It's a different game. A lot of the time, the truck that's involved in it doesn't even know they're involved in it, right? So because they think that they've gotten a load legitimately from a legitimate source, and then there's the identity theft piece. So um, I I know that we utilize your services, and I would say from what we've talked about, 80% of the top 100 freight brokerages in the country use your services. Um, can you share with us, you know, we have a vetting process that we were using before Highway, and we had other tools, and we use Highway, you know, exclusively now on top of our own procedures. But there's so much to it. The dashboard, right, that you guys have on your system. You know, there's a pass fail, obviously, um, but you have an assessment there, and share with most people. You know, the assessment's important. The associations with other companies, and normally when you see fraud, there's multiple associations, and I don't think that a lot of people realize in our industry their biggest liability from a shipper's perspective at times is going to be doing business with a carrier that also attempts to be a broker, because they don't have all these processes in place and they don't know how to handle it. But then, you know, the safety and the details there. But you guys can even go down to the IP level, correct? Of the computer?
Correct. Yeah. So, we're monitoring, where all these logins are occurring, and um, and we have the IPs listed in the UI under the directory tab. You can easily see where any of the motor carriers verified users are logging in, logging out of. So if they're logging in from Egypt, I had one this morning that's logging in from Egypt, and he's wondering, what the problem with his count is, well, you're logging in from Egypt and you have a matching VIN that's been associated with stolen assets. So that's the problem that this particular carrier was facing this morning. I told him, for those reasons, there's not much I can do to help you. Um, have a nice day. So it's, we're looking at what equipment they actually have, where they sit, and if they're really the motor carrier who they claim to be. A lot of these, um, you know, this international cyber criminals are sitting in lots of different countries. Um, Armenia, Serbia, Ukraine. Um,
Eastern
they're all
European.
over the place. A lot of Eastern European countries. We see these guys, Armenia, logging in, um, pretending to be someone over here in the United States. But there's kind of two buckets. It's the carriers that have set up their MC over here. They've filed with, the Secretary of State within the states. They've got a physical address. It might be a UPS store. It might be a Kinko's, if those are still around. But they look good on paper, right? If you check them on Safer, they have active operating authority. They've got BIPD on file. But when you dig a little deeper and notice that they really don't have any inspections, maybe they don't have their ELD connected, but they kind of let this MC marinate for a year and a half, get that authority age up, and then they'll submit a COI. They'll add some VINs off, commercial truck trader, and they'll pretend that they have trucks, to fool the broker into giving them freight, right? So what we do is we verify the VINs. We're ensuring that they're not posted for sale. We ensure that we're getting a certificate of insurance from a legitimate you know insurance producer. We don't accept COIs from the carrier themselves. And then we are also, checking out associations. We're checking out, um, what other people are logging in from that IP address in Armenia. Or those other people have, previous reports for stolen assets, double brokering, etc. So we're doing a lot of stuff on the front end to give the broker a pretty clear picture of who they're doing business with before they do business with them.
Yeah. The
You mentioned
potential risk.
potential risk, and you mentioned the assessments earlier, and we have our base risk assessment. We've got like a reefer assessment, high value cargo, power only. So depending on what type of cargo you're moving, it needs to fall in line with one of your assessment classifications. Obviously, the high value cargo is going to be a little bit stricter than the base risk assessment. Reefer is going to be a little bit different than the base risk assessment. Power only, they got to have trailer interchange or not owned, hired auto, right? So all those things come into consideration when a broker is looking for new capacity to utilize.
Well, I think, our industry, we all, for us, the majority, the 80-20 rule of business applies to us, like because of our business style. 80% of our freight's hauled by the top 20% of our carrier base, right? But like everyone in this industry, the 80% isn't where the problem is. It's the 20. It's the less consistent lanes, the here and there, the spot business that you end up doing, whether it's business you're looking for or business that your shipper needs you to take, right? You get in positions where you have to step out on the branch a little further. And that's where if you don't have the proper processes in place, I like the load lock feature that your system allows. That helps us understand things from an overall perspective. You want to share some information about that? Then I want to get Joe involved.
Yeah, no, I love load lock, and it really, it's really just a per load compliance tool, right? It's based on this lane and my carrier selection. Am I hiring the right carrier for this lane, right? So it's looking at where that carrier has been historically. Have they been in that pickup state before? Have they had a truck physically in that state before? All right. Are they picking up out of a high risk zip code? Are they do they actually have a truck within the 500 miles of the shipper within the shipping window, or are they, the truck is picking up in LA and their closest truck is in Atlanta and they're picking up in 3 hours? They're obviously not going to be the ones moving the load.
Yeah, it might be a double broker scenario if that's the case, right?
Double broker scenario or an
fraud.
uninsured vehicle or
Right.
fraud. Yeah. So it really gives visibility into the broker of real time.
Who you're working with.
Yeah, real time alerts on who you're working with. Are they legitimate or are they potentially trying to defraud you? And we have a team that even if you don't have your ELD connected and we don't have visibility to you, we're going to call that carrier and ask them to connect their ELD before we even send you an alert. So it kind of rolls into track and trace as well, where we're able to do track and trace the entire life of the shipment without you having to initiate a tracking app or use a separate service to track your cargo, which is really cool.